Breaking news here at 9 o'clock. Water main break at Sullivan Square putting a damper on the morning commute, and it is still a problematic scene there as the work crews try and make the repairs. We'll have a live report on the current conditions.
Let the cleanup continue. Thousands of homes still without power after yesterday's wild weather, posing a problem for some trick-or-treaters, too.
Jimmy G is, well, the G isn't gone now. The Patriots pulling the trigger on a surprising deadline deal, sending their backup quarterback out west.
This is 7 News Today in New England.
Good morning and happy Halloween. I'm Nicole Oliverio.
And I'm Chris Anderson. We appreciate you spending your morning with us. We'll have all of your top stories and your forecasts coming up in a moment. But let's start with that forecast because with it being Halloween, a lot of trick-or-treaters ready to go.
Yeah, and you know what? Dry weather. So maybe just the layers underneath the costumes tonight.
Exactly, yeah, because we're going to start out this evening, even by 5 o'clock. We're still in the 50s, low 50s, but we'll drop pretty quickly once that sun goes down as we do have high pressure moving in from our southwest. We're going to see clear skies and winds lightning into tonight. Right now, though, it's breezy. Temperatures are warming up, but it will feel a good deal cooler, especially after we've had so many mild days this month, and we're going to be seasonable today. 53 degrees in Plymouth, 56 in Hyannis, low 50s here in Boston. We've warmed up about 3 degrees since this morning, 44 degrees still in Worcester. As we head through the day, we stay breezy this morning as well as this afternoon. Winds end up out of the west. Worcester looking at 16-mile-per-hour winds right now, sustained, and Nantucket seeing 20-mile-per-hour sustained winds. So breezy today, some wind gusts. We'll get up to 25 to 35 miles per hour, but it's a quiet forecast for your Halloween forecast. We stay dry with mostly sunny skies. Into tonight, by 7 o'clock, temperatures drop down to about 47 degrees, and we'll be looking at cool conditions, but just a couple extra layers will handle that for the kiddos. Otherwise, a pleasant Halloween forecast.
First up, the breaking news. A water main break at Sullivan Square eastbound at Cambridge Street, causing all sorts of problems and making for a messy, slow commute for dozens and dozens, probably hundreds of drivers. In fact, 7's Matt Rascone is live on the scene now with the latest on the breaking details. Matt?
Yeah, Chris, just to give you a better idea of where this is all happening, we are here on Main Street near Medford. This is the east side of Sullivan Square. The break, though, happened on the west side of Sullivan Square. That's Main Street and Moffa Way. Now, crews say they have that water main break under control. You can see the water has definitely receded. But here's a look back at what it looked like earlier this morning. This all happened a couple of hours ago when a water main break broke. That's the west side of Sullivan Square near Main Street and Moffa Way. That is where the water began erupting from the ground, and it flooded several of the surrounding streets, including where we're standing right now, which is here on Main Street. And this is the area where cars were plowing through earlier this morning, cyclists, pedestrians, as well as school buses. It closed down the ramp there on 93 onto Sullivan Square, just causing a headache for a lot of these commuters this morning. And we spoke to several of those commuters who described some of them had to change plans on their way into work this morning.
My first time taking the train in 2 years due to the water main break. I couldn't take Route 1 because there's way too much traffic, and I would have never made it down Route 16 coming from Lynn. I definitely shouldn't have wore these shoes. I'm wearing slippers and not my work shoes. I should have wore rain boots. I didn't know it was going to be a water issue.
And some people were actually taking off their shoes to get through the water. Now, crews say that there is what they described as substantial damage to the roads, and so repairs will be happening there at Main Street and Moffa Way for most of the day. So this is still an area you'll want to avoid. Reporting live in Charlestown, Matt Rascone, 7 News Today, New England.
All right, Matt, thank you. So, Elena, it has been a busy morning for you all morning long. So we want to talk about if this is still impacting traffic and the best ways to get around it.
You know, Nicole, it really is. You can still see that they are working on repairing where that water main break left a hole in the road. Again, this is on Cambridge Street. They're eastbound right at the Sullivan Square area, and that Sullivan Square exit off 93 is closed. So is the on-ramp, too. So from 93 to get back to Charlestown, take the Government Center exit there in Boston and then backtrack with North Washington Street. I would also avoid Route 28 and Route 99. So instead of taking 99, you could take Route 1 this morning, take the Tobin, or take the Sumner Tunnel, Ted Williams Tunnel, but you want to avoid that area. 93 stop and go from 128 in. The expressway, there's a crash there in the northbound lane right in the O'Neill Tunnel, and it's pretty heavy all the way up toward Boston. 324, 95, they look good. The Pike's not too bad, but there is a closure on Route 20 eastbound and westbound there. That's in the Weston area right around Pine Brook Road, and that is due to a a utility pole that's still down in that area. The Pike is a little bit busier after 128 up north. A couple of issues. A crash in the Burlington area, 128 southbound, right at Route 3A, and then another crash in the Woburn area, 128 northbound, right at North Ave. So it's pretty heavy there this morning, too. Your drive time will also be heavy, 40 minutes on the expressway, 35 on the Pike, 33 on 93.
Residents still without power following Sunday night's wild weather that tore through the area. In fact, more than 120,000 homes and businesses in the dark all across the region 2 days later. As cleanup continues, crews still working to get branches and trees that were toppled over on the roadways out of the way and then get the power back on to those homes. 7's Victoria Warren is live in Andover, one of the areas dealing with those power outages. Vicki, what is the latest where you are?
Well, it's still a potentially dangerous situation, and I'm going to show you why here. Just within the last half hour, this tree that's lying on these power lines actually started smoking. And then a few minutes ago, Andover Fire Department responded here on the scene checking this out. This is just one snapshot in one neighborhood from all of this damage that folks are dealing with in such a widespread area. And these crews, they are out here and they are working around the clock trying to clear these trees, get the lights back on. Damage so widespread in Andover, it's hard to see how much progress is being made.
I was surprised that they didn't take care of this right away, because this is a major road. There's so many cars that come through.
Roads still impassable, power still out, schools still closed.
I heard it was going to be a little windy and stuff, but I didn't know how bad it was going to be.
From Andover to Wakefield, trees and power poles crashed onto cars, the same in Winthrop. The damage and power outages are widespread. Officials deciding it's best to postpone trick-or-treating in at least 8 different places: Dracut, Lowell, Billerica, Pelham, New Hampshire, Salisbury, Chelmsford, Boxford, and Andover.
If the lights are out, they're probably going to cancel it, right? If it's too dark, they won't let them out, so I'm not that surprised.
Communities coming together to clean up and move forward. Many people remembering other storms that put this one in perspective.
Well, we had that huge major snowstorm one year during Halloween, so this is nothing new.
So no snow, no ice, but clearly a lot of cleanup. And we'll be watching this situation out here right now with this particular tree and these power lines. The big question, of course, remains for those people who don't have power right now. When will the lights come back on? And yesterday officials said give them 72 hours. So the hope is by some point tomorrow, energy should be restored. Live this morning in Andover, Victoria Warren, 7 News, Today in New England.
Sunday's storm bringing widespread damage across the state, including Worcester, where a concrete wall came crashing down onto the cars below. Look at how badly they were damaged. 3 of 4 cars damaged were actually totaled, and this happened outside of an apartment building. Part of the retaining wall collapsed, and it brought down an 1,800-pound block of concrete. Firefighters say that the wind and rain is likely to blame, and the people who live nearby say it sounded like thunder.
I could see the other car. I couldn't see mine too good, and then I finally came down and said, uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
So that's the end of my car. I already called the insurance. It's totaled. As long as no one got hurt, I don't care. It's placed, it's being replaced, of course,
So Worcester city workers are now trying to figure out exactly why this wall failed and how to prevent that from ever happening again.
First responders in Leominster making a swift save when this car got stuck in some floodwaters. Look at it, it's almost completely underwater. Father and his 14-month-old daughter were trapped inside. Father says he saw the water and thought he could drive right through it. He says it felt like he hit a curb, then all of a sudden the car started floating. After he quickly regained his composure, he called 911.
It was a little scary just because it was kind of like I was driving a boat with a roof. They were in like dive gear almost. So because the water, when they got there, the water was up to about my chest bone. So it was really deep.
The man says he now has a story to tell at his daughter's wedding, even though she won't remember this save. Remember, when we're not on air, you can always get the latest on the weather situation online at WHDH.com. And also, don't forget to download the 7 News mobile and tablet apps to have that info on the go.
We're following breaking news out of North Korea. More than 200 people are believed to have been killed after a collapse at a nuclear facility. That's according to Newsweek, which is citing a report from the Japanese television station. The test site was reportedly badly shaken after the country's 6th nuclear test back in September. The collapse happened during the construction of an underground tunnel at the facility. According to the report, about 100 workers were trapped, and a group that was sent in to rescue them was reportedly buried in another collapse. South Korean scientists are now worried about a radiation leak.
Patriots making headlines off the field, pulling the trigger on a surprise deadline deal, trading away backup quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, and at least for the time being, Tom Brady is the only quarterback on the roster. The Patriots saying goodbye to Garoppolo, sending him packing to San Francisco in exchange for a second-round draft pick from the 49ers. Let's go to 7's Kerry Corrado, live at Gillette with reaction to this surprise swap. Kerry?
Well, Patriots fans are upset that Jimmy G is reportedly leaving, but they are wishing him good luck. This is going to be a big change for the Patriots. But Tom Brady saying he's going to stay focused on the season.
The Wolfpack is down to just one lone wolf after the New England Patriots announced they will be trading backup quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo. He will reportedly be headed to the San Francisco 49ers in exchange for a 2018 second-round pick.
I mean, 49ers need him. He's a good quarterback. Tom Brady taught him well.
I feel like Jimmy will have more of a future if he's somewhere else, not behind Tom Brady.
The announcement coming as a surprise to fans and players alike, with NFL insider Adam Schefter breaking the news, saying it was a, quote, major quarterback shakeup. After hearing the news at home, Garoppolo's former mentor, Tom Brady, talked about the man he calls his friend.
Well, Jimmy's was a great teammate, and he's a great friend, and he always will be. And, I want nothing but the very best for him. He's earned the trust of his teammates and the respect of his teammates, and that's all you can ask for as a player.
Jimmy G started his career with New England in 2014, drafted in the second round out of Eastern Illinois. He quickly became a fan favorite last season, starting 2 games for the Pats early in the year, racking up 502 passing yards with 4 touchdowns. The focus now turns to the search for a new backup quarterback. Tom Brady still leading the Pats on a blitz for 6, and Tom, they trust.
Do the best I can do for our team like I always do. And, I'm going to bring it every single day like I've tried to do for the last 18 years.
And ESPN is also reporting that Jimmy G will not start in the 49ers' upcoming game this Sunday. Live in Foxborough this morning, Kerry Corrado, 7 News, Today, New England.
Now to the latest on the Russia investigation. The White House distancing itself from everyone involved after the latest moves by the special counsel. 2 former campaign officials indicted and a former policy advisor pleading guilty and now cooperating with the investigation. And this morning, reports that President Trump is fuming as the Russia probe enters a new phase. A third Trump campaign member in the hot seat. George Papadopoulos was a foreign policy advisor for the campaign who pleaded guilty to lying to the FBI during its investigations into Russian meddling in the 2016 election.
Look, this individual was the member of a volunteer advisory council that met one time over the course of a year. I'd hardly call that some sort of regular advisor.
Documents show Papadopoulos reached out to the Trump campaign staff about his meetings with Russian contacts. Papadopoulos allegedly tried to set up a meeting between Trump campaign staffers and Russian officials.
It's okay to talk to Russians. It's not okay to get help from a foreign government when it comes to your campaign for either side. So we'll see where this goes.
On Monday, the White House distanced itself from the indictments of former Trump campaign manager Paul Manafort and his deputy Rick Gates.
Today's announcement has nothing to do with the president, has nothing to do with the president's campaign or campaign activity.
The grand jury indictment for Manafort and Gates do not mention the Trump campaign.
There is no evidence that Mr. Manafort or the Trump campaign colluded with the Russian government.
But the men are accused of representing pro-Russian Ukrainian politicians before the campaign without disclosing that to the U.S.
It's very compelling evidence that points toward collusion when it's viewed along with all the other evidence.
When asked about the indictment at a book signing event, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton quipped,
"Great chapter about Russia in here."
President Trump's attorney says that Trump will not interfere with Mueller as he continues his work.
The president is not interfering with Special Counsel Mueller's position. He's not firing the special counsel.
Manafort and Gates will have their next hearing on Thursday. Their trial is likely at least 6 months away.
9:14. So much more still ahead on the news station this morning. Stay with us. We're hearing from students at Framingham State University who are now taking a stand. They are fighting back after another incident of racist graffiti was found on campus.
Plus, New England catching a break from the wild weather we experienced yesterday morning, and your Halloween forecast looking pretty nice. Details after this.
And we continue to follow that breaking news. A water main break flooding the streets in Sullivan Square. You're taking a live look now as the cleanup is underway. We're going to have the latest on the traffic troubles that it's causing.